Good morning. I'm Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. Get ready for an exciting episode of Talk of the County. This podcast is aimed at informing, inspiring, and sprinkling in a little bit of entertainment. That has not changed. I'm excited this morning to be with the new president of the National Association of County Administrators. Want to know what that means? It's people that run stuff, namely people that runs the nation's 3,069 counties. And this lady next to me is now the president of that organization. That intro is all yours.
Thank you, Kenneth. So good to be with you this morning. Betsy Keller, I'm the Chief Administrator for El Paso County, Texas. And as of yesterday, I became the President of the National Association of County Administrators.
So you run a county that has a lot of different stuff going on. El Paso, Texas. It's an urban county. It's a border county. Therefore, you understand diversity, you understand growth, you understand all of these things that county administrators face. Talk a little bit about your county. This is your opportunity to educate my podcast listeners on your county and what's unique about it.
Sure.
Throw in a tourism plug or two if you want to.
Sure, thank you. So El Paso County is a beautiful county in the most further western point of Texas. We are the one of the only counties, or the county in the mountain time zone, where the rest of Texas is in the central time zone. So we are very far west, and we are on the U.S.-Mexico border, where we have a very diverse and wonderful population. We have bicultural experiences. We have the Fort Bliss Army military installation right in the middle of our major city, which is El Paso City, the city of El Paso, Texas. We are a population of just under 900,000 in our county. We have border to the north with New Mexico and border to the south with Mexico. And there is so much trade and activity that goes on between our countries and with our neighboring state. And we have the University of Texas at El Paso. We have the only mountain range in Texas, in a major city in Texas. The Rocky Mountains basically are starting in El Paso and then head north. So we have what's called the Franklin Mountains with our Franklin County partners here. We've named some mountains for you all, but we have our mountain range there. And it's just a most beautiful, with wonderful weather, year-round wonderful weather community. We have also, the county owns and operates a 400-acre central park. Wow. In the middle of the city. We have a lake in the middle of that park. It's a beautiful venue. We have a lot to offer. We also have a lot of sports and sports tourism. We have the El Paso Chihuahuas minor league baseball. We have the Locomotives USL soccer league. So there's always a lot going on, and we have really great shopping in El Paso. There's a lot of cross-border trade and also cross-border shoppers that come up to the United States. So we offer a lot of opportunities in those areas.
It's not the first time I've heard this, Betsy. What is the connection with Texas and Chihuahuas?
So we love our little dogs. So we have the El Paso Chihuahua baseball team, which they actually had the highest grossing sales of logoed merchandise in the minor leagues for a period of time. I don't know if they're still at the top, but they've been at the top before. But we also have the first state, as you go into Mexico from the U.S., is the state of Chihuahua. And so that's one of our again, where there's a fluid movement of people. The city of Juarez is in the state of Chihuahua in Mexico. And so there's this fluid movement between our two countries. I go visit and go for business frequently. We own a port of entry between the United States and Mexico. So we have a lot of relationships with those who are south of the border.
You work a lot with so you had to work with your counterpart on the other side of the border, I guess, which is different than many other county administrators and managers had to, deal with the fact that you all have to get along because there's so much cross traffic.
There is, and there's issues. There's certain things that don't know boundaries. Like during the pandemic, we worked very closely with our partners in Mexico to help them with vaccinations for the maquiladoras, which are large manufacturing factories on the other side of the border, but they're really critical to our economy in El Paso. We work very closely with the elected officials in Mexico, the mayor, the state, and my elected officials. We actually have a binational affairs coordinator so that we can just continue to build those relationships and sustain those relationships. In the last couple of weeks, we went over to meet with and tour the ports of entry and the infrastructure that we have at our port of entry in the other areas. And we met with the mayor and some of his staff while we were there.
How did you ascend to your position? Talk a little bit about the process.
Sure.
Everyone sees the result, but talk about the process. And particularly, being a woman in ascending to that position.
Thank you. That's a great question. So I started in city government, and I worked in city government for about 12 years, where I started in the city clerk's office, and I worked my way up through the city clerk's office, and I actually served a period of time as the acting city clerk. Then I went into human resources, and I worked through human resources and became the human resources director. And after a period of time, I became interested in moving to El Paso. And when I applied for a position in El Paso, I started off as the HR director. And the county did not have a county administrator. Okay. And having come from a city manager form of government, I was looking for the opportunities to collaborate with my peers. I was looking for some direction and vision. And I found that we really were missing that synergy, and we were missing some of those opportunities. And I worked with the governing body then from my HR perspective to help one of our members wanted to propose a county administrator. So I helped them with developing that job description, creating the position, and then I helped them do the first recruitment as the HR director. And everyone encouraged me to apply, but I really didn't see myself there yet.
Yeah.
And then
you would have applied for a position.
Right. So I didn't apply. We hired someone, and they came on board, and they stayed a short time, and they actually recruited me into assistant county administrator. So I spent some time as assistant county administrator, about 6 months. And then when that person left, I thought, this time I'm no longer in HR. I think I'm going to apply for it. And I actually read an article about that time. I read an article about how women hold themselves back. They don't apply for a position unless they feel like they're 80% or better, fully ready, experienced. And I thought, but that often our male counterparts will take a risk and do it even if they feel like they meet 40% of the requirements. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, I'm not gonna hold myself back, and I'm gonna do this for other women to see that we can apply for and try for these positions. And I applied and went through the process, and here we are today.
You get you're right about a lot of times males be Mr. I'll figure it out. They're willing to get in over their head, and if they had to try to figure it out and beat out somebody for the position that might know more about what they're doing, but they make a sale and they get into the spot.
Mm-hmm.
But you being, with that background in HR, a big part of running counties is understanding and knowing your personnel, selecting your personnel. You had to make a lot of personnel decisions, very important personnel decisions, because people are people,
Right.
and they be people, and they do so much different stuff, and you got to navigate through those waters. So you were more prepared and being more built than what you thought coming into it.
I could not agree more. Especially, I realized when I got into the position, the first 2 years, I felt like I was doing a lot of what HR related work still. I was no longer, I made a real conscientious decision to not let go of HR. You're no longer in HR. But what I found was it was leadership. It was people. It was connecting people. It was holding people accountable or making sure they knew what was expected of them and holding them accountable for it, to really be able to make the progress that we're making, and to get the right people on board and make sure we had the leadership development that we needed for them, and just really creating that sense of team and accountability to each other. So it was a lot on my HR skills that I used in the first couple of years.
What do you like most about your current position, and what keeps you up at night? And if you had a magic wand, you would make it go away. The aspect of your job you don't like.
I think what I love the most is I love the people we work for. And I mean, I love my governing body, but I really love El Pasoans. The people of El Paso County, I know everyone thinks their county is very special, and they are, but the people in El Paso County are really special and really good people, hardworking, very family oriented, very good hearted. They would give you their last dime to help you. And so I am driven, and I want to do as much as we can for those people. They deserve it. They don't even demand what they deserve, in my opinion. And so I tell our team, we have to give them better than they even asked for. It's our job to deliver for them better than they even expect. And that's what drives me. I can't wait to get up every morning. I can't wait to face the challenges, because I know we're doing it for the good of our residents. And then what keeps me up is when we have issues that sometimes seem unsurmountable, that are really impacting our community. We went through a period, for example, where we had a lot of flooding. Everyone thinks El Paso, we are a desert, and a lot of people think you don't get floods in deserts, but you do. We have a lot of arroyos. So we've been working really hard over the last 10 years to invest in stormwater infrastructure, which is very expensive, and to go after grants to help us with that. But just to chip away at that, because we were seeing people lose their homes due to flooding. So those kinds of issues, and then just being able to have the funding to do those things, and to be able to help our residents, and to be able to control their cost through taxation, and really economic mobility is a huge issue for us. We need to create generational wealth for our residents. We need to be able to create those opportunities for our future generations to be able to self-sustain. And so those are the kinds of things that really keep me up. And
is your community a younger community, or is it older in nature?
It's a younger community. Our average age is about 3 years younger than the national average. And so it's a younger community. I do think that we'll probably start seeing some changes in that as we see that childbirth rates are going down in our community. So I think there's some risk that will start becoming an older community. But right now we're younger than average. And that's another amazing thing about El Paso is we have a bilingual workforce. The majority of our population is bilingual. And in this day and age, that's so valuable. And so we have a lot of companies that seek out El Paso just for that bilingual workforce.
Who's the largest employer in El Paso? I'm just out of curiosity.
So right now there's a combination. We actually have a temp agency that's our largest employer, but we also have a lot of the military contractors, and then we have a lot of government employers. So the federal government operates Border Patrol and Customs in El Paso, has a large workforce. Our city government is a large workforce. And then our school districts in the county are some of our larger workforces.
As administrators, we've been, it seemed like the last several years, talking about the price of things. Cost of living has been a major topic, impacting food prices, the prices of clothing, the impact of tariffs or the threat of tariffs being delayed, tariffs, and I would imagine you talked about that importing and exporting right there. What is the cost of living like right now in El Paso? And key factors like housing. How's the housing stock?
Sure. We actually have been very fortunate in that we have not seen nearly the housing crises that many other counties have seen across the country. El Paso our cost has definitely increased of cost of living, but our housing costs have not skyrocketed. Now, what we have seen is a move from the city center to outlying areas, to our smaller municipalities, to our unincorporated areas, which is actually more expensive from an operations perspective. So centrally, there's already all the amenities and resources that they need to have access to transportation and schools and things of that nature. But we're actually seeing a shift of the population to the outer, less urban areas of the county. And so that is driving up some of our costs. And we're seeing actually a decline in population inside the city, inside our main city. And so that's an issue that we're going to be having to tackle and think about how we address to attract people back in with affordable housing inside the city proper. But overall, the cost of housing and the cost of living in El Paso is really on the national average. We usually run about 14% lower than national average. We have seen an increase in home values over the last several years. We're now running, I think our average home value this year is about $260,000.
Yeah.
So it's pretty affordable living. One of the things I think El Paso has often been known for is that affordable living, but we're also trying to change the dynamics about that. That doesn't mean we want low wages. So we're trying to make sure we're attracting companies that have good wages and help us support a skilled workforce with those higher wages in the jobs that we're trying to attract now.
You mentioned the University of El Paso. What is your relationship with the university? Being universities can tend to suck it out of the room very easily.
So we work pretty closely with the University of Texas of El Paso. We actually have a program we work with them on with economic development. And we have multiple programs we actually work with them on. They do a lot of studies for us. They help support a lot of our economic development initiatives. But one of our biggest programs is we have an aerospace program. We own and operate a small airport. And we have dedicated a portion of that airport to research and development for aerospace. And they actually house some of their aerospace program at our airport. And so we have an ongoing relationship with them. Our airport's a little more remote, so it's a safer place to do testing, and it's not as populated of an area. It's a great place to be doing research and development. We just built 3 large box hangars, so that we can try to work with them to attract companies that would also benefit from the research and development that they're doing. We work with them on our criminal justice reform and studies and validating our own studies. They have a really robust criminal justice program. We also have worked with them on, right now we have that lake that I was talking about, the very large lake in the city in the center of our large central park. They actually have been helping us with some studies on the ecosystem in the lake. So we've built really close relationships with them. Very collaborative. And I have found some of our greatest employees through internships, with the university. And so it's been really valuable. Plus my husband works there, so I have a great relationship with the university.
That's great. How many students are at the University of Texas El Paso? Just that wild estimate.
I think we're at about 25 to 30,000.
That's significant.
And there's a large number of those students who come over from Mexico. And sometimes, a lot of people don't know this, but just south back to the students come over from Mexico to attend UTEP, but there's also a large number of American residents, about 90,000, who live in Mexico, in Juarez, and cross back and forth. So they may live there and work in the United States, or vice versa. There's a large population of Americans who work in Mexico, in those maquiladoras and other businesses down there.
A lot of people would not realize that they had a American residency and they live in Mexico, or they're Americans
and they live
in Mexico.
Yes. There's a lot of family relationships, long-term family relationships. People who have married into families, either United States or Mexican, and cross back and forth for work or school.
Right. Is your airport has a commercial aspect to it?
Not the county's airport. It's a small. We mostly use it for things like agricultural, fire, things of that nature. But it is the county's airport is a small one. We have a major international airport in the city, but our county airport's a smaller airport.
Okay. How far are you? You mentioned that El Paso is the only mountain time zone city in Texas. What is the relationship with Austin, the state capital, state legislature? How does Texas politics, Texas public policy impact El Paso?
It impacts us significantly. And it's, we're all living, we talk about this a lot. We talk about we're in an environment where both the federal government and the state government are preempting local government control. They're really restricting local government control. And that's the case that we see a lot in Texas. So the challenges with that, especially when you're so far from your state capital, it's about an 8-hour drive from El Paso to Austin, or maybe an hour and a half, a little over an hour and a half flight. So we are at a distance. But there is a lot that happens there that impacts us. Recently, though, we just got out of a state legislative session. They did award, our delegation was very successful in getting El Paso County awarded a lot of funding, and not directly for the county, but for our region, to invest in. We've been having investments in a cancer center, a study for a downtown deck park, lots of investment in mental health and other things that have come out of the state for El Paso, which we really greatly appreciate. The challenging issues are the capping on our ability to produce revenue, the which is really a local issue. And I would like to have seen our governing body to have the ability to make those decisions, knowing what's best for our community. But those types of issues. Another recent issue has been whether or not local governments will be required to enforce immigration. And so that's a pending issue right now that's tied up in some legal matters in Texas, where the state has passed a law that would require local governments to help with immigration. But that's, again, is tied up in legal matters right now. But it could come into effect, which when we already have strained resources in our law enforcement, and you put additional requirements and duties on them, it can be really challenging. And it shifts a cost from a federal issue to local taxpayers. So now it'll be those local taxpayers shouldering the cost of immigration enforcement more than they have in the past, when it's been generally shouldered across a national basis.
You know, we in our NACA Ideal Exchange talked about the impact of federal funding reductions, the loss of the American Rescue Plan, and the severe hangover that our nonprofit community is facing, where their monies are drying up. County governments are saying we can do no more as far as providing grants that we had traditionally provided. And poverty among seniors and children is a significant issue in many of our counties across the country. What have you faced related to these factors? Is that really a factor in El Paso? Poverty amongst children? Is there a vibrant network of nonprofits that you partner with?
So definitely we have a wonderful group of nonprofits that we work with that are really critical to our community and our community's stability. Unfortunately, they are being impacted already by some of these cuts that we're seeing, either through federal funding sources or state sources, or often as federal funding being channeled through state resources. And those are being reduced significantly. NACO does an excellent job collecting data about food insecurity. And when you look at that map and you see El Paso County, it's one of the most food insecure counties. And so I use just this one example. There are so many nonprofits that we rely on to help support our community, and from victim services, mental health services, but the one that I'm focusing on that just we saw during this conference is that food insecurity. We have one of the largest food banks in the nation, and it is seeing significant cuts. They had to lay off about a third of their workforce already.
Third of their workforce.
Yes, and it's
had to be laid off, and you have one of the largest food banks in the nation.
Yes, and we have important partnerships with them. They also help us run a program for our reentry where they train. We use their services. They have a training program, and our reentry participants can go and learn skills for warehousing, forklift operators, get certified. And we really appreciate the partnership where they're teaching these individuals a skill to help them reintegrate and get back on their feet, back into society. But and at the same time, we're helping to provide the manpower or the staffing to be able to run this massive food bank. They provide so much for our community, and they're being impacted significantly. And the county, who's also facing funding reductions, doesn't have capacity to fill these gaps. We heard this a lot yesterday and throughout the conference, that counties don't have the capacity to pick up this reduction in funding that's coming. And so I feel like there is a tsunami coming. But what we'll end up seeing is more demand for our general assistance services. Potentially these life needs not being met can result in so many things that cost. It's a cycle. We could see an impact to our jail population. We could see an impact for mental health demands, more of an impact on our uninsured, uncompensated health care through our county hospital. So there's a tsunami, I think, that we're about to face.
Yeah, it is going to, we all are going to have to figure this out. And it's going to look very different than it looked before. When we look at the next 5 years, I'll just say we got to prepare to do something different and seek positive results associated with it. We're going to go back to NACA. What type of things you would like to see this organization improve upon, expand upon, gain more exposure? Talk a little bit about some of your thoughts. We've worked closely together a number of years now. We kind of came up together. I may have got there a little bit before you, but some of the same people pulled us into this organization.
So the National Association of County Administrators has been such a valuable resource to me that I want to see us continue. And we hear the feedback. We hear that people love the idea exchanges. They love this opportunity to be with their county counterparts and hear directly from those who are facing very similar challenges, hear who has come up with solutions. I want to make sure that we continue to keep these really robust idea exchanges going. I think we need to continue our efforts as over your tenure as president, I think our past president, Steve, we definitely have seen more and more momentum. We've been building more relationships with other affiliates so that we are partnering and supporting each other. I think we need to continue that and really help each other. At the ICMA conference, we have been partnering with the affiliates and putting panels together on issues that all of us care about and working together. I think we need to make that even more robust. And we have to continue to reach out to those who can't attend conferences or who don't get as many opportunities to come to an in-person idea exchange. So that I really like the partnerships that we started under your presidency with NACA, where we did a joint webinar together recently. We had a major topic presented by NACO, and then we followed that up with an idea exchange of NACA members. I think that was really valuable to our members. And I think the more opportunities like that we can create.
Yeah.
I also think that our county administrators and their staff need these opportunities to be together. I think it's good for our mental health. I know when I leave a NACA idea exchange, I feel better, not just because of the ideas I heard, but I know that I'm not the only one facing this. It's not something just that we've done wrong or that, we're trying to figure out alone. It's something we're all in it together. And so the more opportunities we've started in the last several years, more opportunities for social gatherings during conferences of county administrators, a little bit of fun. We've embedded
it. Social events.
Me too.
So the social events were a hit. I mean, they hit right. I mean, it hit right off the bat. It was like, wow, we need to do more of this, because it took us outside of the conference center, and just kind of personality opens up more. When they're in a social setting, you see who the hyper competitive people are. You're doing something like election shuffleboard. You find out, who likes to be the funny person in the room.
Right.
Who think they're the funny person in the room anyway. They try. I'm one of them people that think they're the funny person in the room and might not be, but I try.
But we need more of that. And just an idea we discussed yesterday was the Top Golf. You know, like do a Top Golf outing or go have a golf tournament. Do some fun things together. So we've really been trying to work to add those to our conference offerings, where we can support our membership to get together outside the conference and just have real conversations, meet each other, and get to just talk, and not in such a structured way that our idea exchanges are really about topics. But this really lets us get to know each other, make connections. And, you know, we couldn't do that without our sponsors. Our sponsors have made a big difference. We've really grown
Sponsorships, and we have a lot more room for growth because we touch almost everything. Depending on the county is really like, for me as Franklin County Administrator, I don't have any authority over putting out a fire. I don't have a fire department under my purview, and I don't have a public service department that picks up solid waste. Everything else in some way, the county touches it. We're responsible for it. And the average person you see on the street would not realize that.
Absolutely. It's remarkable what counties do. I love the data that NACA shares, like what percentage of hospitals, you know, how many counties have a county hospital. Some of our counterparts even are responsible for the budget for school districts. That just, you know, there is a lot counties touch.
Yeah.
A lot that counties do. And so
clearly in the Southeast and the DMV area.
So those relationships and partnerships with sponsors really help make this work possible for us to do what we do at the National Association of County Administrators. I'm looking forward to continuing that. I'm really looking forward to what we can do to provide more opportunities for our members to connect.
I really like how we're getting our staffs to share information, get to know each other, because our staffs are critical to what we do. We have great staff people. At least I can speak for the members of our organization. We have staff people that are just waiting to step up.
Absolutely.
You know, just great people, just helping on the program and just helping the agenda flow. You know, not to mention our agreements with ICMA and Northern Illinois University have been pivotal in helping give us that assistance we need to elevate our work. You know, we're executive minds. You got to be a dynamic, charismatic, confident person to do this work. But without great staff, you can't make it happen.
Casey and Paula are just dynamos. I'm so thankful we have them. It's really helped raise the level of our organization. They have been so vital to our success. And then our own staff back home, as you mentioned. And I do like the fact that we are, you know, during this conference, especially when we're at NACO, the National Association of County Administrators has several different types of position holders. So you see everything here from a budget analyst in our idea exchange to a county executive elected, and they're just seeking information. And all of us have so much to share and so much wisdom and knowledge that sometimes I don't even think we know we have. But when you hear the questions and you think, I've done that. Oh, we have a program that helps with that. And we share it out with each other. We're growing our organization and we're growing our profession for the future. And I'm so proud of the National Association of County Administrators for doing that work. I love when my staff is in the room and I see them stepping up to share something we've done, or I see them making a note from hearing what someone else has shared that they're doing, I know that we are setting up our communities for the future, for better futures, by developing our team and being part of this organization. That is something I hope will continue to really encourage, is for deputy county administrators or assistant administrators, or even those who aspire to go into leadership positions in the county, to really get involved and participate in NACA.
Yeah, I mean, I'm passionate about leadership development. I'm a big believer in all other things that are associated with servant leadership. I mean, I'm like an addict. I try to
Mm-hmm.
just to get deeper and deeper and deeper in the doctrine of servant leadership,
Mm-hmm.
because I just believe in being able to articulate the why and the purpose, and that we all are just vehicles that are moving in a direction to help people. Like you say, one of your major motivations is just the people of El Paso County.
Mm-hmm.
You just genuinely are motivated each and every day to make their life better.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's what I think. That's what I think is what draws people to this work. Is really, I hear people who say, "I want to give back to my community." That is what this work is about. This work is about giving back to our community, and the way you can give back to your community is by multiplying your effect. And you multiply your effect by servant leadership and by developing the next wave of leaders, and by bringing more people on board with you to be an army to serve your community. And so that is fulfilling to me. That is life fulfilling for me. And I think so many of our counterparts, that's what we're all looking to do in this
Mentorship.
career. Mm-hmm.
That's been something that over the last couple of years with me, the light bulb has just gone off. Because I look at my own professional career in my life, and I reflect on how fortunate I was to have some of the mentors that sort of showed me the way. Sometimes it was rough the way they showed me, but it was a purpose in it, and I'm better for it today. So now I'm just on this thing where I'm saying, find a mentor. Work your way in. If you get to spend 30 minutes with somebody, it's an opportunity to learn something.
Absolutely.
You might not find no formal mentorship situation, but you don't really need it. The best mentors that I've had, they've kind of led me organically. It wasn't like I sit down in front of them and they was like, "Oh, I'm going to be your mentor, Kenneth." It was like it just happened. I mean, it's been formal bosses, it's been formal. It just happened naturally. It's a relationship that just grows. When you have those deepest mentorship relationships you have, they just grow organically.
I agree. And I do think there's value in intentional, and a lot of it though, even intentionally, is not formal, right? So I have people in my office who I am growing and developing for their next promotion. Their future. I know that they're going to be capable to lead a whole department or a whole, or eventually be in my job. And a lot of times it's not that we have a formal sit down time for mentorship, but it's let's set up time for feedback on something you're working on, or even leading by example. I often think sometimes when I'm in a tough situation, and maybe in a public meeting, and we're getting criticized over something, I know that how I conduct myself in that moment right there is mentorship to those who are watching. And I keep in the back of my mind like, I don't let anyone else dictate my behavior. I decide my behavior, and that's how I'm going to train and mentor others who are watching to see how did she handle this? How did she respond? Did she let it get the best of her? And that helps me kind of keep my cool, knowing that I'm role modeling for everybody else. So
It is just, I mean, the whole, that's why I'm a big fan of apprenticeships. Big fan of bringing in young people from colleges and universities, because nothing beats practical experience.
I agree.
When you got practical experience, I try to encourage people to go get your master's in public administration, because if you've been on the ground doing the work, it's almost not fair competing against those that went straight from undergrad into an MPA program. You got such an advantage over individuals that haven't done the work.
Right.
Because in the textbook, and when you've done the work, it just comes alive because you've actually done it. Now they ask you to put it on a paper and write an essay about it.
Right. My dad
got this. It's easy.
My dad was a machinist and a mechanic, and he used to tell me when I was getting my degree, he would tell me, and I had already worked in local government, and he told me, it's like a machinist who's done all the work, but going and getting your degree is like adding to your toolbox. You're just getting more tools in your toolbox, but the practical experience is knowing how to use those tools. And I found it was so much easier because I was already working in local government when I went to when I started my degree. And I found it was so much easier. And I'd often wonder, how do people who not work in local government make the connection of what this means? How are people who are not working, connect this to reality and practicality? So it's great. I remember when I started at the county, I had several individuals in HR who did not have a degree. And they saw that I was valuing and recruiting people with degrees. I was encouraging them to go get their degrees. And I had several who went together and got their degrees together. And I remember when we all attended their graduation from the university, we were all so proud for them. And I've now seen them grow and develop and take on new leadership roles. And I'm so incredibly proud of all of them. But that is investing in our future of our profession.
Yeah. I mean, it's making people better. At this point in my career, making people better is like right up there at the top of my objectives. And part of that's my why. Making people better, watching people develop. I don't have as long as I used to watch the period of time people got to develop. I got to identify some and build them up quicker because I don't have as long to watch them grow. But that is something that I really enjoy. And association work is about amplifying and elevating a particular industry or a particular thing, put quite simply. And that's why I enjoy that work as well. And that is why I'm so looking forward to all that you're going to accomplish as president of our association over these next 12 months. So by the time we get to New Orleans for the 91st edition of NACO, you will have had a whole list of experiences and things you've done. And we're going to keep making this organization better for those that follow us as we go up in leadership. Because one of the things I'm really excited about is we have been able to seize the opportunities when we needed board members to go out and get new board members that are going to bring more experiences, their credentials. We're just going to keep elevating. We're just going to keep rising. I appreciate the brotherhood, the sisterhood that we have within our organization. But now I'm about to pump the brakes and talk about some things that my podcasters normally hear me talk about at the end. I know you live a full personal life with grandchildren and life be lifing. You have all of those things going on. Talk a little bit about Betsy. Just let's drop the title.
Okay.
Let's talk about Betsy a little bit. Does Betsy favor the beach or the mountains? Don't say desert because that's in the backyard. So
I love the beach and the mountains. I really love the beaches of Mexico, and I love the mountains. We go up to the mountains in New Mexico quite a bit. I actually lived in the mountains when I was younger, so I like them both. And I love snorkeling, so that's why I love the beach. When you get me at the beach, I'm actually in the water more than I'm on the beach. And I do love my grandkids. I have lots of granddaughters. I have 7 granddaughters and 1 grandson. And
7 granddaughters.
yes, but I have 4 sons. So they blessed me with 7 granddaughters and 1 grandson, and I love them all, and they're great. So we spend time with them. My husband and I love to travel, and we like to go camping, and we like boating, and we like just exploring. We have a great time exploring. We both also like music quite a bit, and he's very musically talented. I have to really work at it, so I try to play the piano a little bit in my spare time, something I taught myself as an adult. I picked it up about 10 years ago, and I love reading and just, being with my family. My mom, I spend a lot of time with my mom, and I really enjoy her and appreciate the time I have with her. And we really like being outside and outdoors, and we have 4 dogs too, so that keeps me busy. Yeah, yeah. But
that's a lot going on.
That's a little bit about me.
You have all the many things going on in the workplace, and then you got this dynamic, exciting life. I'm gonna ask a brand new question. Talk of the county first.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask this question because I love automobiles. Always have. So now this question is coming from that, and this question is sort of a beach versus mountains type question. If you give Betsy a choice of between 2 vehicles, Corvette convertible or Suburban, which one do you pick?
Oh, that's an easy one. The Corvette convertible. Okay. I'm a car person too, and I love those sports cars.
I thought you might have picked Suburban,
No.
The dog and everything.
No. No. I love those fast cars.
Yeah, I'm personally, this is a talk of the county first with this question. I'm Corvette all day, every day. I'll figure out how to move everybody else around later.
What color?
Yeah.
What color Corvette?
Red. I used to be black, but there's reasons why I've changed to red. Now I'm partial towards red.
I like
Red,
yellow.
black.
I like a real bright yellow or a red.
Yellow.
Beautiful.
Bright yellow. Yellow with a black convertible top. That's always been popular. So what is it, and as we wrap up, what is it that would surprise those in our organization about Betsy that we wouldn't predict?
Okay, so I'm gonna share something with you that ties to the cars. I've been a drag racer since I was before I had a driver's license, I was into drag racing. And I have a 1969 Chevy El Camino that's actually a race car. I don't race anymore. I haven't raced in several years, But I grew up in a drag racing family. We traveled across the country for drag races. My dad worked for the drag race associations. And so drag racing is like in my blood. So that's why the question was so easy. And so most people would not know that about me.
Drag racing.
Yes. The faster, the better.
Fast and Furious Betsy.
Yes, sir.
We need a picture of that El Camino, because I know El Camino's, and we need a picture of that El Camino for the promo for this podcast.
I'll get you a picture.
Racing count. See, people don't realize that we people too.
Right.
We're not like, these weird people that just happen to have a love for county government. You drag racing.
So that's
Chevy
the surprise.
El Camino.
Yes.
What color?
Green.
Green. Oh yeah, that's what's up right there. It's got the dual exhaust on there.
It's actually.
Sound like,
Oh yeah, it has headers. It was amazing car. Had nitrous. It was pretty. Yeah.
not the tanks.
Yeah. So it's pretty impressive.
Okay. See, I learned something new today. Drag racing. That's what's up. I watched a lot of the whole race culture. They had like a drag strip where they, just like you see, they line the two cars up and the wheels smoke and they just pump out.
That gets my heart racing.
The
Yeah.
Chevy Novas and Firebirds and
My brother had a Nova. Yes.
Chevy Nova Super Sport.
Yeah.
Jacked up in the back.
Oh yeah. Big slicks. Yes.
Yeah. That takes me back. Yeah. That was before the Nissans and the Civics. Then it was drag racing. Like now you see the street racing. So this has been we got to wrap this up. Hour comes up quick. I know you are a very extremely busy person here at the National Association of Counties. These conferences, boy, you don't get to stop. You got to constantly be on the move, meeting with people, talking with people, networking. So all of that. But I want to, again, I can't say enough positive things about our relationship. And I'm so looking forward to your presidency. And I'm here to help in any way I can. So as we wrap this up here at NACA, the 90th edition, this has been a county administrator edition. So as I, Kenneth Wilson County Administrator, wrap this up, I'm closing it out as I always do. Do you, because nobody else has time to. Thank you.